guys? It's Josh Reviews. Oh, okay. So, let's just get right into it. We're going to be taking a look at Project Eerie. So the last review I did was for a movie called 1031 Part 3. And my opinion on the trilogy as of now kind of varies. Some of the segments were really good. Some of them were really bad. So, I figured let's keep the tradition going and let's just continue on with another horror anthology. This time found footage. So Project Eerie. Oh, wow. Okay. So, for those of you not aware, this film is from the same people who did the movie Fear Footage. And if you've never seen Fear Footage, it's a found footage anthology movie. Not too old. I think it came out in like 2017 or something. I mean, yeah, that's like it's like 6-7 years ago. So I mean, it is kind of, but you know what, whatever. But it actually did pretty well, and it got 2 sequels. And I've only seen the first one. Man, that was decent. It was a decent found footage horror film. Wasn't great. Definitely can tell as a filmmaker myself, or an independent filmmaker, I can definitely see it was shot on an iPhone. And honestly, that kind of encourages me, especially since movies nowadays are being made with iPhones. If you guys didn't know this piece of trivia, apparently the new 28 years later is being shot on an iPhone 15, or it's being shot on an iPhone. Let's put it that way. So that's kind of interesting, but enough about that. Yeah, so they made this movie. It is about 2 kids that sneak into an abandoned government building, and they find this disc titled Project Eerie. And when they watch it, it's an anthology. They see different shorts, and they're streaming it live. So we basically, as the viewer, are watching this live. So I'm going to review the individual segments and then give my thoughts overall on the film. So here we go. So I don't really know if the segments have names, but I think the first one is called, I'm reading it off a piece of paper I wrote down. I think it's called Millsdag, Maryland. And it's basicly about this dad who takes his young daughter, to this campsite to just basically, or I think it's a beach, but he takes his daughter on a trip in an RV, and they, upon reaching their destination, they find this weird, creepy looking, ranger who's just like fucking weird, odd looking. And the way he moves and talks, he almost looks like an animatronic, or a malfunctioning like Disney animatronic. And upon, kind of exploring the area, they find a dead body washed up on shore at a beach. And that later that night, just some freaky shit happens. So overall, I want to say this one was probably my favorite segment, hands down, specifically because I just thought the relationship between the father and daughter was fucking adorable. As a person who wants kids of my own, I thought it was really sweet to see. And I'm just gonna go off on a limb. I think that was his real daughter. I mean, it's very possible it's not, but I mean, there are some things in the segment that I'm like, okay, that's probably his real life daughter, which I have no problem with that. I think that makes it better. Just want to throw that out there because I think it was interesting. But yeah, this one, I thought the dad did a really good job, or at least, the actor did a really good job portraying the character as this, protective father. Nothing really felt unnatural. Nothing really seemed like out of place. The reactions felt genuine, and I felt like everything just kind of happened at the right moment. I will say though, I would have if I was in that situation, and if after I saw a dead body, I probably would have left right away. But he, reports it to the ranger, obviously, and obviously without spoiling anything, there's some shadier stuff going down. But yeah, overall it was a decent segment. I'm gonna give it a B-. Not great. There are a few things that kind of hold it back. For one, I think it obviously still looks like it was shot on an iPhone, and they had like a VHS filter, so that was kind of distracting in a few areas. and some maybe one or two dumb decisions towards the end that kind of made me go, but overall it was probably the creepiest and best acted out of the segments. The second short is Claymark, West Virginia. So this one's about two rednecks who find this wanted individual. He's like wanted for killing his family, and they basically find him and capture him and they record it, and they're trying to like sell the footage to like news station to try to like get reward money or something. But while they're holding him at gunpoint and questioning him, I don't even know what happens. This space shuttle basically crashes down, and dead astronaut shows up and just tries to kill them. But so this dead astronaut shows up and starts attacking them, and it's not really well established what this thing is. It's not. I think it's supposed to be like, this astronaut basically got infected with something and came back, and he came back with like a virus. But honestly, there were some parts I couldn't really take seriously because he looked really goofy. There were some decently effective moments like where he looks decently creepy, but that's mostly when he's hidden in the shadows. When you see him up close, he looks really goofy, and I watched this with a friend, and we both were laughing. So I don't know if that was, I don't know if that was the intent and purpose. But and the other thing is, I think the guys playing the rednecks, well, they did a good job. You could tell that they were putting on like a fake accent, or this redneck, oh, we're a bunch of redneck. Like they were really stereotypical, and it was kind of funny. This segment was more funny than scary, and it kind of stood out to me because it kind of went for that sci-fi element. You have the first segment, which was decently effectively creepy, Eerie, and then you have, the one I'm going to cover next, but then you have this one where it just kind of feels out of place, and yeah, it didn't really worked that well, but it was decent. It was decent. I don't want to undermine that. It was a decent segment, but nothing great. Out of all the segments, the 3 segments, I think I had the most issues with it. So I'm going to give it a C+. Now, again, I didn't think it was bad, but it was definitely the weakest out of the 3. Now, what was it called? Birch Village, Pennsylvania. That one is about 2 paranormal investigators who go to, I believe it's an Amish couple. They go to do some paranormal research stuff, and upon getting there, some paranormal shit starts happening. I mean, that's pretty much the basic of it. It was decent. Had some effective scares. Overall, some creepy atmosphere. There's some genuinely creepy scenes with the Amish couple. Again, I think they're Amish. Where one of the couples I think the husband, he's just standing out in the field, and he's just talking about how the light is flickering, and it was decently creepy. It was effective, and the last, I'd say, 10 minutes were pretty intense. So that's pretty much it. One thing I do want to comment on though is that I think the main character Josh is literally dressed up like Josh from the Blair Witch, and I think his friend is even named Michael or Mike. So it's, Josh and Mike. And I forgot to mention this in the first segment. The daughter of the father is literally named Blair. I don't know what the director is trying to do or what he's trying to convey, but I think it's safe to say that's a Blair Witch reference. Anyways, B-. It's a decent segment, but nothing really else to comment on it. So maybe I should give it a C+, but I'll give it a B- because it was effectively creepy in some areas, but there's not really a lot to talk about. I think it's the shortest segment out of the 3. And then you have the overarching narrative story, which is about the 2 dudes, and it was fine. It was a good, decent, wraparound story. We never cut back to them besides the opening and the end, which was kind of interesting. I thought we were going to kind of cut back to them after every segment, but it was fine. I will say this. There's a weird, I don't know if it's a separate segment or if it's just what it is, but there's a part where there's a guy with an umbrella just standing outside this home. I don't know if that's supposed to be connected somehow or if that's like a teaser for like another film. It wasn't really explained, but it was decently effectively creepy. So decently effectively creepy. That's say that 5 times fast. But yeah, no, I mean overall it was fine. I mean the whole wraparound story was fun. I will say it had a really disappointing climax, or I mean I don't really know how else they could have ended it, but it was a little cheesy in my opinion. Without spoiling anything, government officials show up, and I was like, really, that's kind of what we're doing? Okay, whatever. It was fine. It was whatever. I'll say my big criteria with this film is that it takes place on Halloween, but nothing really screamed Halloween. It felt like another found footage anthology horror film. So I really wish it had more of that Halloween atmosphere going for it. But other than that, it was a decent film. I had fun with it. I think my friends didn't really care for it that much, but I mean, I liked it. I love found footage. It's my favorite horror subgenre, so I'll say that much. But yeah, if you just want to sit back and watch a few decent indie found footage horror segments on Halloween, this one's got you covered. Is it great? No. But did I have fun with it? Yes. Do I think you will too? Yes. So overall, the whole film, I'm going to give it a C+. Is it great? No. Is there room for improvement? Yes. Did I have fun with it? Yes. Anyways, guys, so I think it's time to revisit an old horror classic that was also found footage. I gotta go tend to my dog.